Laffy and my son were real good friends. He came around us all the time. My son would always say, "Mom, can he spend the night? Can he spend the night?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, he can spend the night." And we'd get up the next morning, I cook breakfast, fussing with the kids. Laffy would always laugh. He never would talk, never would say much. He'd just laugh. I miss him, and I love him.
Stop walking around here unprepared. Stop being scared. Stop doing all the crazy things you do. That ain't you. Stop wasting precious time you have complaining about your circumstance, believing that you're what you're going through. That ain't you. Don't you remember who you are? Don't you remember? And even after all this time, please tell me why you don't know what you're here to do.
We're at 2400 West on Crenshaw, and this is the street that my cousin lived on when he was murdered. As you can see, this is a very nice community. It's basically a middle-class community. People take care of their lawns. You have flowers. People care about this community. A common misconception is that the deaths that we're seeing in the city of Chicago are only occurring in, dilapidated urban areas, which is just simply not the case. The reality is that the entire city of Chicago is being affected. The entire city of Chicago is a war zone. Basically, you can be anywhere at any time and something can happen to you.
How many children got to die before we wake up? Wake up, wake up, wake up. How many jobs we gotta lose before we break up? Wake up, wake up.
If people are under the impression that, my household is together, and, if someone else's problem, or it's happening in another community, or it's happening down the block, or it's happening to someone else's kid, you're only deceiving yourself. It's only a matter of time before you're affected by it as well. Can you imagine if you lived in a building? Imagine a building, 2-story building or 3-story building. In the basement, you've got a fire. And you say, "Oh, the fire, that's the problem of the people who live in the basement." That's what the people say on the 2nd floor. And the people on the 3rd floor are saying, "Oh, it's not going to reach us. I'm not going to even worry about it." And the people are saying, "Well, why don't the people on the 2nd and 3rd floor help us out? Our house is burning down." Well, to the people in the basement, and we're talking about the city of Chicago, we're basically in this building, we're basically in this house that's on fire together. Chicago is on fire right now, right? And to the people who are in the basement, if you're in the heart of the community and you've got this gang violence around you, you can't wait on the government. You can't wait on the 2nd floor, you can't wait on the 3rd floor, you can't wait on the state, cities, officials, and you can't wait on the federal government. We need to act now as a community. We are in the fire. That means that we need all hands on deck. It needs to be a community effort. We need to be working together. If we wait for them, we're going to be burnt up. We're right off of Division and Keeler, and this is a location where Laffy was shot. We talked to a lot of the neighbors in the community, and all of them stated that they didn't feel that the shooting was gang-related or drug-related. The Sun-Times is also reporting that there's been no motive, and there's also been no leads are also in the case. Now, the common misconception is that most of the killings that are going on in the city of Chicago, that they're gang-related or that they're drug-related, and you've just got like black people and black gangs like shooting at each other. But the reality is that most of the deaths, including Laffy's, that are occurring in the community are incidental arguments, disagreements, or just the wrong person being shot completely. Laffy was not in a gang. Laffy was not selling drugs. He was just simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. A lot of the situations that we see in the community is this exact same scenario, where we have babies, mothers, grandmothers, single parents, people from all walks of life getting shot and hit by bullets that are meant for someone else, where they're not even involved in a gang or in a drug or any altercations, but at the same time, they're still in the harm's way of gunfire. And this is why we state that this is an American war zone. We truly are living in a war zone. Anytime you have this amount of children and young people and people of all walks of life being gunned down, something needs to be done about it. So the point that we need to realize is that these crimes and these deaths and murders and shootings that are happening all across the city of Chicago, it's a community issue. It's something that can happen in any place at any time to anyone. And that's why we all need to be involved. Because today is Lafi, is somebody in my family. Tomorrow it could be someone in your family. Tomorrow it could be someone who you know, your child. A lot of these beefs are incidental issues where, someone could be, two guys could like the same girl. Someone gets disrespected on Facebook or YouTube, and the retaliation is no longer, a word discussion back and forth or an argument or even a fist fight. The retaliation is a gun, an automatic weapon as a response to someone simply disrespecting you with words. And then that response is played out on our streets, and anyone can be a victim. People are spraying automatic weapons into crowds of people. Lafi was walking down the street. Someone was aiming for someone else, and he gets shot and is killed. So to me, that's a war zone. To me, that's something that the government should be responding to on all levels, but they're not. And that's why we have to bond together. That's why we have MPowerMovement.org. That's why we need your support. We need your talent. We need your abilities. And if we do that and we bond together as a community, we can bring national attention to this issue and force some changes in our community.
Did you know that you are born of pure divinity? A true mystery to unfold. Share your world and don't you hesitate. Focus your mind and meditate. Don't be afraid to let the light shine through. And I guarantee the moment that you do, you'll introduce yourself to you.